Okay, today is June 10th, and I'm going to try and do a quick garden update. I've had some phone issues, so what I've tried to do hasn't been working. So here's kind of an update on the bagging method of your apples. On a couple of them for sure, I saw some insect damage that weren't bagged. I have lost some that had been bagged, but they told me that that would happen and that they were ones that would have fallen off anyway. These things are great. I have not caught a single bee, which is awesome. I don't know what all of them are, but I know there's some white flies. I see just regular flies, some things I have no idea what they are, and then a lot of leaf hoppers, which are a big problem for me. And the broccoli in the back's doing good. I think I might have some lilies coming up. And then the borage I had, it just, it's very fertile, so it spreads everywhere. Just really quick, my Nicotania, forgive me if I say it wrong. Here is my early dividend broccoli that I finally had germinated. This one was from the 9th of April, and it's now June, and that's how big it is. It's supposed to be done in, I believe, 40 days, so I'm kind of doubting it, but we'll see. Here's what I believe to be a crimson tom, which is semi-determinate. I don't know what, I know determinate and indeterminate, or was it semi-indeterminate? I don't remember, but it was partial, whatever that means. And here's another tomato, which is behind this. I didn't think my Sweet William would get that big, but it was happy. So I may pull it out and move it somewhere after it's done blooming. I have a long pie pumpkin, and I have some that I wonder, because it's yellow already. Yep, I just lost the fruit. Usually when they yellow up right away, it's a sign that the fruit's not going to stay. But it's got a couple others down here, and it's meandering along happily. I do have a couple other, where am I aiming? Of the early dividend broccolis. Again, they just, we'll see. They're supposed to be great, but, here's my solstice broccoli. I did start these a lot sooner. Do I have any tags for these ones? This was before I started being a good girl and tagging everything. What kind of butterfly are you? I don't know. Anyway, here's a San Marzano paste tomato. And I like to do 2 stems. I don't know if you can see this. I'm sorry, it's so bright outside. It's beautiful. So I like to do 2. Oh, look, I've even got some tomatoes already. Where's my aim? Yay! That's exciting. I didn't know that. Something ate a lot of my zinnias, and they had a sale at Fred Meyer, so I ended up just buying some of those. Cabbage. Here's the butternut squash from the store. And you can see the difference of, they're the same family from my pumpkins that I started versus the store-bought. This one is, I know for sure, a Crimson Sprinter, which is the one that said that's a semi-indeterminate or semi-determinate. I don't know. I need to, so if anybody knows what that means and how I should prune it or not, that'd be great. Oh look, there's some tomatoes on my peace vine. How exciting. Some of this, I have been way too busy to come and really check for a few days, other than basic harvests. A lot of the onions that I transplanted out here have died, which honestly at this point they were in the way. So, whatever. Here's some of the zinnias I purchased. And look at this long pie pumpkin. It is so happy and it's moving along. And I thought I saw, there's some little pumpkins. It's supposed to be a really tasty one, so we'll see. And then here's another piece tom. Do I have any more tomatoes on this one that I see? Nope. Another Nicotania. Here's some more of the solstice broccoli. And this is a volunteer tomato. So this is whatever just crossbred and decided to grow. So I decided, it just so happens to be perfectly spaced. I'm going to let it grow and see what I get. And here's another, no, this one's a Rosa de Bern tomato, which did really well for me last year. And my raspberries, I have some that are ready for harvesting. For me, what I usually do is not just based on color, but if it comes off easy, just like without even hardly pulling, then like this one. then it's ripe. Ooh, sorry, I'm not in focus. And let's see. How does it taste? Very good. Perfect, actually. Sweet and slightly tart. That's how I like them. So I did a soil test and found out that I have an abundance of phosphorus and potash and almost negligible nitrogen. And I tested from my first 2 beds over there, and then I tested my front. And sorry, my daughter was distracting me. And they were pretty much the same, or at least close. So I'm kind of trying to deal with some of that obvious nitrogen deficiencies. Here's our little peach tree. How exciting. And I harvested 3 things of kale, 3 plants that had bolted, and they were shading things out as they had been overwintered and all of that. So I've got some blueberries, which will be ready to harvest here maybe even today. Let's try one. Oh, that's good. Not quite ripe, but tart. I like tart things. Yummy. This was from transplanting, and I need to weed around these, but I'm starting to get some. Where am I even? Some of the little lanterns for my ink and ground cherries. And I've noticed that all of the peppers that I did the wood chips on are stunted. So I do think, even though I didn't mix it in the soil, I do think it is leaching some of the nitrogen out of the soil. Here's my later blueberry. Let's see. Over here, my sweet potatoes or yams are finally going. My cucumbers are finally doing stuff. I did pull out some of my parsnips and stuff, and I've been trying to kind of encourage them to reach for the sun, because as soon as they reach the sun, the parsnips and stuff, who cares? Oh, and I also cut back my oregano a lot. Was there anything else I cut back over there? The one under my salsify died, and then there's my other of my punicura. So I've been getting peas, which is great, and I'm not quite tired of them yet. Again, I've got some sort of like virus on these, so they're really not doing good, and even the fruit and the flowers kind of get shriveled. And so how I've been knowing when to pick these is when the beans, where am I? When the beans start to fill out, I can tell it's no longer going to grow long. It's starting to put the energy into actually growing seed. So that's when I've been kind of harvesting those. And I'm not sure this was proper on how to do my cabbages. Sometimes I grow things and I have fewer planned for the space, but I don't have the heart to just waste the fruit. I'd much rather get smaller fruit, but more of it, than one giant head. The beans are starting to look better. This was the only bed that had any nitrogen reading whatsoever, and I took the soil from right by my beans because they were also having, the discoloration and some of the issues. So, I saw a study where they were saying that beans actually fix the nitrogen in the soil, but that's only before they fruit, because they make a kind of relationship with the bacteria in the soil. But when they start fruiting, they kind of break up with the bacteria because they start needing all that extra energy for themselves. Can you pick that up, please, dear, and not throw it there? My basil. And here is my green towers romaine. And this overwintered, completely overwintered. I didn't move it or anything. I'm thinking I'm going to save the seeds from it because it's been really slow to bolt. What's that guy in there? Is that one of my beneficials? Planting eggs and stuff. It's interesting watching them. So anyway, so over here, what I'm calling my cabbage bed. Different cabbages. I've never grown the red cabbage ever before. And then some of them just, you can tell, have some serious issues. Some of them you can tell are having some major issues. This one, which I thought was a goner, is starting to recover. I added nitrogen, and I'm curious to see if there's like bugs or something in here. Oh yeah, look at all the aphids in there. So I'm gonna have to just like clean him up. And you know, they often sense like the weak plants, and that's where they'll go. I smushed it with my bare fingers. Yucky! Over here real quick, I love my chards. More nicotinia, and I saw that this actually will do well in the shade, so I'm going to totally try that. Mine usually get really, really tall, and I don't know if it's because they're full sun or what. More of that. I've got some carrots that might be ready to harvest soon. Something ate, probably the mice. I also have been having mice problems under my beds, and they've been nibbling on my roots. But I'm getting some more broccoli heads. Here's my solstice broccoli. I don't usually get heads bigger than that. Don't know why, if it's just my beds, but that's just me. Oh yeah, here's some more zucchini, and then here here's another mouse hole. Cotton balls soaked in, oh, you see the mice? The mouse. I don't know if you can see, it's fuzzy, but there's ants on there. It's sugar water, I believe boric acid, and they take it to their colony and they die. So anyway, here's where I pulled the kale, and I planted some more, and I had one cabbage. I just was like, well, I'm gonna stick it there instead of waste it. The birds have been most unhelpful with my strawberries this year. I've only got one of my little red painted rocks, which maybe I need to have my daughter help me make some more, because last year it must have really helped, because I didn't have a problem with that as bad last year. My leeks, for some reason, are not bulking up. They did over winter, so I don't know if that just means they're as big as they're going to get. They've started to try and flower, so we'll see. And this little area, I've got more romaine. I've got some Asian vitamin greens going there. My chard's starting to bolt. This is the next kale that's got to go. And then I've got more purple top turnips in here. I just love how they look, and unfortunately I don't really love how they taste, but I really want to grow them. So I need some recipes. If you have good ideas, let me know. So here's some more of the, the 2 jalapenos and those. I've got more spinach and pak choy in the back, and I've got radishes, and the d'Avignon has been the best radish for me. It's the fastest, and I think I might have some that are ready to harvest actually. They're a breakfast radish. I don't know if these are breakfast. Wait, here we go. Yeah, these are the d'Avignon. Let me see you. Let me see you. See, they're about ready to harvest. I just need to get in and do it. And then I've got some salads ready. And then what I was doing, because I had one fruit open that was a female, and I have plenty of male flowers, I took the petals off of this guy. And I just wanted to make sure, I'm trying to do this through my viewfinder, maybe I shouldn't. And then you just kind of rub it around and you get in the middle to make sure you really get fruit. So the rest are going. I definitely have, if I can remember, are they leaf miners? You can see, and they love my chard and my beets. Some of them have the very distinctive like worm-like patterns through it. A little bit like over there. A little frustrating. And then my little pepper, which is being shaded out. And then this was kind of my, well, let's try it bed. I've got the onions over here. My calendula is blooming. I might have to save some seeds from that this year, because my calendula I used up. Oh, and the one, drawing a blank, zucchini that I couldn't find a place for is surviving. My bachelor button, they are starting to bloom. I don't know what that is. I think that's a weed. And then my basil. And then I have some flat leaf parsley. I transplanted a very sad borage. And then nicotinia. And then here's my rest of my parsley, and cilantro is bolting. And I just, aren't these beautiful? Just that bright blue purple color. Focus on it, that'd be great. I just think that's pretty. And last but not least, let's go. Oh, I want to do two things. I hope I'm not taking too long of a video. Sorry, you guys. I hate it when people ramble, and I'm totally rambling. But just from comparison, here's the peppers that have not been covered with the bark. Now they do dry out much faster, but they seem to be really happy. And ditto with the ink and ground cherries. And I've got some that are blooming here as well. Let's go take a look up front and what we've got. Okay, we're in the front, and my flowers have all dropped their petals over in here. I know it's not edible, but and something has been munching on them. Munching. It's probably slugs or snails, because we have a ton of those, so I need to drop some slug bait. We have a bird nest in my fuchsia, so I need to figure out how to water it without watering the bird and the babies. Grace, get down, sweetie. I don't want you by the birds. No, thank you. And this is the first year that my hardy jasmine has blossomed, and they smell so good. They smell really good. And then over here, taking a look at the garden real quick. Okay, so this is where I stuck some of the things I didn't know what else to do with, because we've just got some issues, right? This is a big area, and it's very weed prone. And I figured I would grow squash here because they spread and take over and would shade underneath. I did add some lead meal, and this little rhododendron, which has always been very sad, actually put out some flowers this year. Not a lot, but it did some. And you can see my little butternut squashes are alive. Not terribly happy. And this thing looks much better too. It didn't put any flowers, but at least it looks healthier. Again, these ones, and this one, which was completely munched on by something, is at least trying to pull through. I added borage, one sunflower, one I took from my daughter's garden. All the other ones got some sort of disease. These ones did not. Oh, look, there's one more sunflower. Of course, they're not happy, and they're kind of shaded, but, you know, whatever. That's kind of how I garden. Sometimes you just kind of let it do whatever. And this one looks kind of sad. This one looks very sad. This was the one that barely had any root, and it's been kind of hot. So I need to water. But anyway, that's our garden. Oh yeah, real quick. Last thing. Really, this is the last thing. Okay. Here is my artichoke. You can see there's some yellowing in the older leaves. I don't know if that's normal or it's needing a little help. And then my rhubarb hasn't done anything at the moment. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening.